comfortable position to actually figure out what they should do.
I think if there is a ban that comes out, it'll be the gragas ban from TL, because I feel like that's the safest jungler and it's the most potent jungler late game if you do get to that point. So preventing him from playing something that will scale up and forcing Dardoch and Xmithie to really go at it 1v1 could be something that will really snowball the game in TL's favor.
Yeah, not to mention that Xmithie had that huge gragas ultimate in the final team fight of the regular season game where he just like knocked the carries away from the fight.
Yep.
I mean, it's a safe pick into the rek'sai too. That you don't have to really snowball ahead as long as you hang on, as Dom was mentioning. You get to that level 6, that team fighting presence, and you're just unstoppable at that point. It's free kills anytime you have flash.
Yeah, I love jungle gragas for those reasons. And it's interesting here, not a huge priority on junglers early. We got Karma as the first pick for CLG, Tahm, Kench, and Ashe immediately locked in for Team Liquid. And like you guys were kind of thinking, Xmithie's going to go with the gragas. Do you think that that is an obvious type of lane to gank, or like how are these picks going to be influencing what Xmithie decides to do in the game as gragas?
I personally like gragas into Tahm Kench because even if Tahm Kench is able to eat the carry, you can still knock the Tahm Kench back, which will kind of misposition both of them at the same time. So it sucks if you go for that one pick off with your flash body slam on a carry and they get eaten out of it. But if you go for their, you hold your ultimate and you get the Tahm Kench with the carry, it can actually be really potent and lead to like a double kill in a lot of situations that could be just one.
So funnily enough, the whole idea of the jungle matchup, I think it's going to play into the theme of the game and the comps itself. But CLG has that gnar. If you just survive against Irelia rek'sai, get away with the early game, you can pretty much outscale and win any team fight with gragas gnar into that. But if TL looking to get picks with the Irelia, Ashe, Tahm, Kench, gets ahead in the early game and can find a way to snowball this out, I think CLG is looking in trouble.
Yeah, this is really interesting because Team Liquid did actually have a lot of success with Lourlo in the top lane and carry roles, and we have this stat called jungle proximity. We don't talk about it very much, but as far as time spent in the top lane in standard lanes, Dardoch spends more time top than any other jungler.
Well, that's his boy.
Yeah, it's his boy. He covers for Lourlo. He's got Piglet out of there. Fabbbyyy can just abandon Fabbbyyy down in the bottom lane. He goes all the way for Lourlo. And yeah, rek'sai Irelia is going to be something they're going to want to gank.
Oh, I mean, the Syndra.
I
cannot speak enough. How many times? I mean, I'm sure all three of us completely detest ganking a Syndra as a jungler.
I hate ganking a Syndra. Syndra's one of the only champions in the game where you gank her mid and she'll just turn around and just one-shot you out of nowhere.
Ignite, come on. That's just asking to trade one for one every time.
It's a one-shot.
Yeah, I was talking about Syndra the other day, and she's actually had a series of buffs kind of under the radar before coming up, like AP ratio increased on Q.
Multiple balls.
You can pick up multiple balls with W, they persist for longer, your ult grabs more of them, like there's all these things that just make her stronger and stronger. But looking at the jungle matchup specifically, like we're even talking about where Dardoch is gonna go. How much would you want to gank a Karma Jhin lane versus a Syndra lane versus a gnar lane?
Oh, you're going mid. Yeah. You're going mid nonstop.
Yeah. Dardoch's gonna be going mid up against the Syndra?
Yeah. With LeBlanc, I mean, this is a matchup that you have to snowball early. You really have to get the LeBlanc ahead, especially when HuHi's going to be taking Ignite. That's almost like a disrespectful, hey, you're against LeBlanc rek'sai, you are going to get ganked. It's a little wiser to take a defensive summoner spell, get out of the laning phase, but if Dardoch can really just go in there, blow a flash, come back for the return gank, that's a free snowball.
If he flashes on the Syndra, it should be a kill. The flash should guarantee Fenix's chain, and if Fenix has the presence of mind to flash forward and dodge the stun, that'll be a guaranteed kill every single time. So I'm expecting level 3 ganks mid. I'm assuming obviously it's always going to be standard lanes on this patch. So level 3 ganks mid, really strong. Topside jungle into mid gank could always be something that you have to worry about. But I expect HuHi to play around that and not die to the obvious ganks like this.
Yeah, HuHi has had some issues in the past of dying a little bit too much in lane. I think that's why he gets that reputation as some people thinking he's a weak link on CLG. But he's also gone with Ignite up against Fenix's teleport, so it's even more reason for him to try and get aggressive. And like you said, with standard lanes, that could really pull in a lot more pressure there. There's also the other thing that I want to ask you guys about, since it is standard lanes, it brings in a lot of mind games with the jungle pathing and exactly where you start. If you were in this game right now, let's just say if you're Xmithie, where would you be wanting to start your jungle, and what types of decisions would you want your team to make right here in the game where you can't see anything?
I would start topside here every time. I think that in standard lanes, starting topside is just better. I expect both junglers to start topside actually, but starting topside will be really good, and I would want my mid laner to ward left side of mid, level 2, if he can, so that he doesn't end up getting ganked by the rek'sai, so that would be ideal for me.
I think if I'm Dardoch, I'm probably looking at doing 3 camps on the top side, and you want to start on the top side, you do the 3 side on the red side, and then you go in for a gank on the mid lane, then you go to the bottom side. You can choose to invade Xmithie if you want, go to your blue side, and then just keep putting the pressure on mid lane, because while you want to get the kill, and it might be a little bit expected, ultimately you want to shut down that Syndra, and if you can still get a level 6 advantage on your mid laner, you can just show up to that lane with that power spike, go for an easy dive.
Yeah, okay, so we got a split screen going on right here. Hopefully it's relatively easy to follow. Like you guys can see, both junglers starting topside, both getting a pull. The question is kind of now, what are the decision points from this point?
Well, the big one so far has been that the solo lanes from CLG and Xmithie have saved their trinkets. So they're going to be able to just ward so much for whatever Dardoch's trying to do, and I like this adaptation because they see the comps, okay, they want to get ahead in the early game, save the wards, you know that you're not going to get invade early on with some sort of invade for a lane swap. That doesn't happen right now, and if they can get away with this and find a way to track Dardoch and see him on his early ganks, I think Xmithie's going to be able to get out ahead.
Yeah, it's mainly a game of control for CLG. Xmithie doesn't want to force fight. He doesn't want 2v2s or anything like that. He wants to clear his camps, go to bot side. I likely think that he will ward before he even does his red buff and just try to keep tabs on where Dardoch could be and not allow him to get free ganks off on his lanes.
Now, is this a question of the breaking point for the rek'sai versus gragas matchup of Xmithie playing very defensively and trying to ward? Or is this more an Xmithie versus Dardoch thing just because Dardoch likes to fight people?
It's a matchup specific in this game in particular because they know what TL's plan is with the composition, right? You're basically looking at it and expecting the coach to be like, hey, just survive, literally get away, get to 20 minutes in this game even, we win this game. 5v5, there's no chance we lose.
Yeah. And you can see, I've seen this a few times from the rek'sai. He'll run to the scuttle crab early because they cross the river at the same time, and Xmithie's actually
this is the ward I was talking about. This is a good ward to drop.
Oh, he sees Dardoch though.
I think this is going to net them the red buff, so this is really good if they push in with the LeBlanc, but
I think the bot lane priority kind of negates that. Bot lane's so far shoved in, the Karma can move first, and Xmithie should be able to...
But mid is winning quite hard.
Yeah, this is really interesting, actually. Dardoch, do you think he
could
be going for a dive here, but the ward's there, which is going to help him?
Yeah, I don't think they can get the buff anyway.
This is actually really good for Xmithie, though. If you think about what's happened here, he's pretty much up 2 camps on Dardoch. Dardoch got the crab, and while he's been getting the crab, Xmithie's got wraiths and golems, and now he's going back to get his red buff. So he's essentially clearing faster than Dardoch here.
I like a little help from Aphromoo.
Yeah.
Saying, I got you, buddy. If he's here, we're going to kill him. So Dardoch immediately has to run away.
And that's one thing that a lot of times is underrated as far as a jungler is concerned. Just by strict pathing, Dardoch would have had the advantage on Xmithie. But because that dual lane was so pushed up with the Karma and the Jhin, Aphromoo was able to go help, and they actually didn't lose that much in the lane phase.
And right now, if Xmithie can pull this off, this is fantastic. If he can go counter jungle doubles, drop a ward at the Raptors, and he can essentially deny him 2 camps from Dardoch if he can get in there, and because he knows he's safe in the top side. You know that Dardoch would be in the bottom side. He's not going to take the risk. He's just going to go and grab the scuttle crab, but that ward is still going to be enough to actually keep his eyes on him. So I'm expecting him to recall, maybe get an early trackers or a sight stone, make sure that you can just keep eyes on him because the laners are doing fine.
Yeah, Dardoch actually did a path that's a little bit different for a red side clear. Normally when you see people go for the red side clear, they'll do their golems, then they'll do their wraiths, and then they'll do their red so that they maintain full HP and they don't have to burn any pots. But Dardoch actually cleared golems, then red, and then wraiths, which meant that the wraiths spawned late, so Xmithie wasn't able to counter jungle that camp. So doing that path where the wraiths die about 15 to 20 seconds later actually negated the counter jungle there.
Yeah, and it's weird because Dardoch doing that path probably saved 5 or 10 seconds in making it to the scuttle crab, but he had lower health and then also saved himself from the counter jungle.
Yep.
And now, hopefully he has enough money to go back with a Tiamat here.
Yeah, let's check the gold right here. You can see 1,162 gold. Dardoch is the type of player who's probably going for the Tiamat.
Oh, you gotta go the Tiamat nowadays.
So this is a good back place. The reason he backed here and not at the golems is because Irelia needs to get this wave into turret, and even though they do have wards, Dardoch wants to be here to let Irelia push so that Irelia can't get ganked, and if he does get ganked, Dardoch would theoretically be here.
That's super unlucky.
Yeah.
So he had the right time, and the ward died too, so Lourlo, it's at least a flash.
Let's see the E flash. Oh.
Okay, well, he's super dead.
Yep, super dead.
That was some great timing from CLG, knowing that either the ward was dying or just knowing that, okay, it really has to push up. And if Dardoch was just there a little bit later, I think it ultimately
Yeah,
as well.
it was a little unlucky there.
Yeah.
I mean, Dardoch had the right idea. He knew what could potentially happen, but the timing was a little bit off. Ideally, you want to wait until the wave is all the way shoved into the turret and then back off together. But Dardoch kind of sat there, was like, hey, this guy's not coming. I don't want to waste more time. And he backed off a little bit early, which resulted in Lourlo getting the kill there.
That's a tilter right there.
It's a tilter, but I wonder if it's kind of a stylistic thing too. Dardoch wanting to be a carry jungler is probably less inclined to wait longer, whereas if that was Xmithie, he probably would have waited for Darshan the whole way, but it could have cost him if obviously the timing wasn't super unlucky.
This is really interesting.
I really like this from CLG, just immediately pushing down that tier 1 turret, make sure you get that gold.
And from a jungler's perspective, Xmithie still hasn't backed, so it's just a huge amount of presence he's had on the map, and I agree with you, just sending these people up here. Even Aphromoo and Stixxay, they're doing the late lane swap to try and get that first turret.
This could be a 4v4 up here.
Yeah, everyone's kind of up here, except for Fabbbyyy, though. Would the junglers come in?
That's level 6. I don't think they can actually pursue this.
This is actually one of my favorite things in the game right now. That turret first blood actually feels so good.
I don't know, man. That's so much money. Look at that lead.
So
That's
much
ridiculous.
Money. It's so much money. I love it.
You get a feeder on your team, and then the game starts going downhill. It's like, you lost us the game.
Yeah.
For a jungler, though, like it also makes your first gank much more important.
Yep.
So the timing window of there for Xmithie to be top lane and then stay was probably influenced heavily because of the first turret blood.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
And I think that this is the difference between Xmithie and Dardoch right here. While they're taking the top lane turret, Dardoch's farming, and Xmithie's investing that time. That early lead that he had where he was 2 camps up, he's pretty much thrown that all away just to play for the team and just to get the team ahead. So really, Dardoch's going to be stronger if they run into each other directly, but if they keep on playing this macro game, CLG will eventually win out. So now a lot of the pressure is on Dardoch to find a response, and that response either has to be a kill mid or a kill top here.
Well, I think for Xmithie, that gank on the top side was just so good because the fact that they blew the flash on Lourlo means that with Gnar and Gragas, you have so much kill pressure on Irelia. There's a lot of damage, it's mixed damage, percentage HP, and the disposition in CC is just so much that Irelia can't really keep up. So as long as he finds himself going towards the bottom side constantly, I think they should be able to shut down Lourlo, and basically they wouldn't have a front line for Team Liquid since he is going with the team backfield.
And there's the wrinkle in this game, too, that the top lane turret died so early. So it kind of influences the jungler's decisions from here on out. You mentioned that Dardoch has gone team at, he's going to try and farm up hard. But I mean, now, with the dual lane swap in the top lane, and Xmithie at least being experience-wise where Dardoch is, like, where do you think he should be going? And is this even the right call? Is he's going to just add pressure to the top
just wants
side?
to crash the wave.
It's just another wave-based play where they're trying to push in the wave all the way so that they're able to freeze the wave back on their side, or they're at least able to get the wave to bounce back. So they need to have people up here to be able to complete this play. And because Fenix and Lourlo don't have TPs, they're able to just do this with only 3 people.
It is dangerous with the Ashe arrow at 6.
Matt should have technically seen Xmithie at least going into the jungle, so just him being in that area is making it really difficult for them to farm, but because they saw him, Dardoch's going for the counter jungle as well. So the question now would be, should Dardoch attempt this gank, or should it be too obvious that Darshan would know he's there?
I don't think they even have a whole lot of kill pressure at this point. Irelia is behind. Darshan does have that little extra HP and armor from his itemization that I think is going to be way too hard to actually push for this. Unfortunately, it is an Ocean Dragon, so you can't even go ahead and try to solo that.
This is a good way to abuse a low wave clear mid. LeBlanc does have wave clear, but it's very dangerous wave clear. She has to go into melee range to essentially get that off. So being able to pressure that just draws resources. You saw immediately when they got there, TL has to force a fight for it to be a relevant play. And they immediately Ashe arrow, and now the Ashe arrow is down, they can go back and siege again.
Yeah, and with the junglers now, because the siege is so heavy, like Dardoch is sucked towards the mid lane. Do you think he's happy about this, sad about this? How should he be playing this?
So
pissed. He'd rather be farming. There's camps up, there's places to be, but he's unable to do any of them just because CLG groups. Now he's forced to group, and as long as CLG maintains the idea of forcing group plays, TL is going to be in a tough spot to actually engage something, because the only tool they actually have to engage at this point is the Ashe. If they look for some sort of tahm kench ultimate engage at level 6, all it takes is a gragas ultimate to just disengage, and you're immediately stuck doing nothing for another 5 minutes or 2 minutes.
And it's really dangerous for them to engage like that, because if they engage onto CLG, if TL engages onto CLG in that manner, and they don't get a clean engage off, it's so easy for CLG to turn it around, TP in with Mega Gnar, it'll obviously charge up, Stixxay gets safe, drops the general. It's so easy to turn around these plays, so they have to be really clean about their engages in order to actually make these plays happen.
Yeah, well, luckily the siege is broken as well, so Dardoch is back at counter jungling. would this be a smart play for him to try a dive on the gnar? Like, what situation would need to let him know
if leBlanc can run down here? Because I think what we're looking for, wait for the gnar to time out, get irelia down, or
just get
leBlanc down here.
That's a good chunk from Darshan. Being able to get his Mega Gnar off, he knows that they're waiting for Mini Gnar. He has an idea of what's happening, so he uses his Mega Gnar proc just to lower them a little bit for the dive, because honestly, if he goes into Mini Gnar, he's not going to be able to go Mega again anyway, so you might as well get the damage off and prevent yourself from diving, from being dove, by actually burning your ultimate like that. So I actually think that's a really smart play from Darshan. It's a very defensive ultimate, even though it looks like overly aggressive.
I think a point that's overlooked on games like this is the fact that the junglers, because of the TMF build for Dardoch, he's not going with the jungle item, it's going to be a lot more lacking in the vision game and vision denial. As you see, Xmithie can have that sweeping lens, so he can actually see what's going on. He can clear out the vision, and that's not good from Liquid, a team that wants to play getting picks. Vision denial is so important for them, and if they don't have that, they're going to find themselves struggling to get anything going.
Yeah, and even the pink wards are getting cleared away by Xmithie. Also, since we're still jungle-focused stream here, the Dardoch versus Xmithie matchup so far, was it more on Dardoch making mistakes, Xmithie making good choices, or is it just that CLG as a team is prepping very well around Dardoch?
I think CLG as a team has, and Xmithie, I mean, Xmithie would be the one spearheading the idea, but this is obviously a CLG plan. They're saying, our goal to beat Team Liquid, you got to shut down Dardoch. The warding, the pathing, the idea is to force so many things for Dardoch to say, hey, you can't just be doing your thing, you got to react to us. It's just shutting him down.
Yeah, they're kind of trapping him into a lot of decisions. They had to pull him top lane. He didn't want to stick around for too long. They've been consistently sieging mid lane, making it more and more difficult. And now, I mean, with the Tiamat, he's going to be trying to force a play. This is a huge play, teleport, and Dardoch coming in with a tahm kench. Uh-oh.
This is the turnaround that I was talking about from the Jhin. If they have equal numbers there and they go for a play like that, instantly dead. And Fenix is done here.
They didn't even get to blow a summoner in the top side. Well, one gank from CLG, just because the champions have such an easier time pulling this off, instantly killed leBlanc out of all characters.
Jungler decision right there. Gragas knew the rek'sai and the tahm kench were gone, so it was very easy for him to commit fully for that gank. And Dardoch has really just left catching up. I feel like Xmithie's doing a spectacular job reacting right now.
This is exactly how Xmithie wants to play out these games. He doesn't want to make it hectic games where there's a lot of kills all over the map. He wants these games to be very decided on key plays. Make a play and then back off instantly.
Yeah, and then again, just be able to jump in the mid lane, and now Xmithie actually leading the charge, zoning him out. Super far ahead already, even though he's down 20 CS. The team itself is just able to outpressure. A lot of that comes from his vision control.
I mean, I gotta say, this one looks pretty grim from Liquid at this point. I don't see the windows that they have to get back into the game. If they want to look for anything, it's gotta be using Dardoch Flash. You gotta use the Dardoch Flash to get in onto the Syndra. You got nowhere else to go. You gotta at least find a way to snowball something. You haven't even seen a gank anywhere.
So I actually just want to touch on a technicality thing while we have a minute here. You mentioned because it's an Ocean Drake, you're not thinking a jungler would solo that. I think most people don't realize that the Drakes are actually a little bit different depending on which one spawns. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
I believe the Cloud Dragon is the one that hits you the hardest.
It attacks really fast.
Yeah, so it attacks really fast. And the Mount. I guess I don't really think of Cloud being the fastest movers out there, but the Mountain one is the weakest one for actual damage.
It attacks slow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd figure it would attack really painfully as it is built out of mountains, and mountains are rocks.
Yeah, slow-moving rocks. It's like walking on it. But yeah, I think the Mountain Drake attacks like every, what, 2 seconds or 4 seconds for a low.
Do you know what the ocean one? I don't know what the ocean one actually.
It slows. The attack's actually slow. So if you get into a fight and you're caught on an Ocean Drake, it's actually really hard to get out of it. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's a very noticeable slow that will actually kill you in certain situations. So going for an Ocean Drake solo is normally pretty dangerous because if you do get caught on it, you have less windows to get out than, for example, a Cloud or a Fire Drake.
I mean, the vision game right now is just so brutally visible. Now that Xmithie has the actual upgraded lens, it's so easy for them to just clear out the entire jungle, and you saw that on the push right there. Aphromoo was able to actually put the wards before Xmithie can get in here and reinforce that vision. But meanwhile, Dardoch doesn't have any wards. He just switched to it. So it's 15 minutes in his first instance of the sweeping list.
That was just CLG vision we were seeing right now. We'll switch to Team Liquid vision after this fight, but Xmithie right on top of Dardoch again. Look at this dive.
And they have no eat for the...
It's so easy for them.
I actually would like to see gold between the junglers right now, because even though Xmithie's down 30 CS,
yeah, he's ahead now.
Even in gold.
Yeah, he's even / ahead in gold, which is perfect for the gragas. He only is going to get stronger in this matchup as the game goes on, and it's getting to the point where Dardoch is not going to be able to do anything in this game. He's not going to be able to initiate. He doesn't have the high damage anymore from the Tiamat. He's kind of just in a situation where he's just waiting for the enemy team to make a mistake.
I mean, to be honest, knowing the kind of personalities that both these teams have showcased, I get a feeling that they're looking already at next game.
Yep.
Maybe. Do you think Team Liquid is tilted in that sense? We're going to get to see this again because the setup was so clean, mainly because of the wards that were prepped, but also because Xmithie is already there. They're warding around the back. So as Dardoch is trying to defend, there's a gnar coming in behind him, and that's the placement of the ultimate from Xmithie, again making an easy kill on Fabbbyyy. Matt, I believe, had already devoured or wasn't able to devour beforehand.
They used it before.
It was super weird how that started. They ported into the turret. They used the tahm, kench, abyssal voyage to get to the turret, and then he immediately ate Fabbbyyy, and they were somehow trying to defend it 2v3 as soon as, or 2v5 as soon as it started.
In an area that CLG had completely taken over as they had gone to the top side from Team Liquid, and they're like, hey, maybe we can defend the area that CLG was just in, putting in all the vision, and they get immediately punished for it.
It honestly just seemed like desperation to me. They feel like they're so far behind at this point. They're like, okay, we can't give them everything.
Well,
Let's try to make a stand here.
If you're a jungler, the most annoying thing is when you get people in your jungle, kind of jungling you, warding you, they're making something around you. Like the other guy's a bit of pain in the ass. But if the entire team's plan is to shaft you, I mean, this feels brutal to actually be in the shoes and realize, okay, they saved the wards for me, they path for me, they counter jungle for me. It's like, oh man.
And now they're just grouping up as 5 people, so Dardoch's decisions are basically completely team fight oriented. He's gonna have to go in. You mentioned he's got to try and flash. TL's gonna go for it.
He's gonna die.
He gets blown up because the rest of his team is already low. He's the only one on this team who hasn't died. Matt makes sure that stays the same. And basically, like, what should Dardoch's decisions be right here? Because he's up 30 CS, but the entire team is warding on him. Is this something where his team would need to back him up? How would they back him up? How would he actually become relevant as a rek'sai, 3,500 gold down?
Maybe turning into a split pusher, I think, would be one of the solutions that might throw CLG off guard if you can pressure them somehow and say, hey, I'm gonna play split push rek'sai and try to force objectives on the other side of the map. Might slow down CLG in their decision making and look for a point where TL can maybe get more picks. But leBlanc isn't even that. If you can't one-shot the support, you're not really in a good spot.
Xmithie, another nice flash body slam. But I mean, this could be a turner for Team Liquid.
Yeah,
the Rift Herald bait. This could be big.
Jhin's just getting there now. The second Jhin gets there, it's over though.
To back up.
But the problem that I see with the split push rek'sai here is there's no one that he can actually match. If
Oh,
he
I
goes
mean,
versus
yeah,
gnar, and the problem also with the split push rek'sai is if he does split push, it would have to be a 1-3-1, Lourlo split pushing versus gnar, and rek'sai just trying to force pressure on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
But CLG has the engage to negate that. If they're standing 3 people at a turret, they don't have the wave clear to actually deal with that. They'll get engaged on instantly under the turret, dove, and then their whole team will die.
Oh yeah, I don't think they have any other like real options though.
Agreed. It's more just like a guess scenario of what they could potentially do. But we're looking at this Rift Herald replay right now. It was pretty ambitious by CLG to try that one, and that wasn't even necessarily something that Dardoch had to start. Xmithie, though, 2-0-2. We haven't talked too much about builds, especially from Xmithie or Dardoch side. Do you think they're making the right choices, and where do you think they should go from here?
I love the Randuin's first side from Xmithie. You're against pretty much 3 auto attackers in Irelia, rek'sai, and Ashe. If you just negate them and make sure that the locket is going to come in a little bit later, you're tanky enough that leBlanc's not going to use her combo on you. So you just stick to the carries. You can serve as either a massive peel for any divers with the Randuins and your CC, or you can assert with the diving and make sure that you can just obliterate Fabbbyyy and negate him from the fights.
It's a really good item here. I like it better than the Frozen Fist in this situation because the Frozen Fist would be a lot of armor, but you don't have that much health to back it up, which makes you actually susceptible to the leBlanc one-shot combo. But when he buys the Randuins, he has the health that leBlanc from this stage cannot one-shot him. So he's not going to get comboed by that. And then he'll essentially just be this front-line tank that won't be killable in a full TL combo. If they try to commit for him, his team will 100% be able to clean it up, provided he doesn't get caught like 1v5 in the enemy jungle. So
you wouldn't think of the Randuins as an item that could be good against leBlanc normally, because like, oh, it's an armor item with anti-crit. But because it has so much health, really just not being able to be one-shot by the leBlanc is super valuable. Also have to keep in mind.
Such a counter to the crits from Ashe as well. Once she's going to be hitting that Infinity Edge, the Randuin is going to mitigate so much of the damage, and Ashe is going to pretty much have to be hitting her the entire time because there's nobody else in the front line. It's either her or gnar, and it looks to me like gnar is also going for Randuin.
4 shots onto Fabbbyyy.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh
and
my God,
W.
Stixxay.
Lord.
That's not Xmithie. You know, he set that up with his jungle. No, that was just
Yeah.
that was just Stixxay being a beast right there and Fabbbyyy not juking. He had flash that whole time too.
And heal.
No,
no heal.
was down,
Okay.
it was down.
But yeah, I mean, he just didn't think that he would get hit by that. Ideally, you want to have your Tahm Kench near enough to your Ashe that you're able to counter something like that, but...
Dardoch wants to do stuff, but I mean, the whole team is just grouped up so much.
You never win this 5v5 at this point. It's just a pigeonhole for the draft at this point.
Yeah, he missed his window this game. At this point, they aren't able to do anything. Their biggest target this game would have been a gank on the immobile mid laner of Syndra.
He played so safe.
Yeah. Well, Team Liquid might think about a fight here. I imagine Dardoch would want to go in when Fabbyy's up, but I guess the inhibitor's down. Still smart to cool off. And yeah, you're talking about the window that Dardoch had.
Yeah, I think that there's ways that you could set that up through laning that weren't executed properly here. If you're playing the LeBlanc versus Syndra matchup and you trade in ways where Syndra has to use her spells on you plus the wave, the lane will naturally pull to you, and that's the real danger zone for Syndra when she has to try to push all the way into your turret and you're able to just come behind her or just go directly at her with a rek'sai gank. So they actually played the lane pretty aggressively from Fenix's side. Fenix pushed HuHi in almost the entire lane phase, which is exactly what Syndra wanted. Once rek'sai got priority level 3 and was in the jungle behind him, HuHi was already at his turret, and there's no way they can dive him straight up, especially not without an ignite. So I think they definitely need to, if they are going for this combo, they need to be able to set it up more through laning than to just wait for HuHi to make some massive misplay.
You'd think that'd be communicated in the beginning, hopefully, that you just say, hey, I want to gank early, you push to make sure that the wave bounces to you.
Now he's just getting bounced around in these fights. Poor guy. CLG, 6,000 gold lead. Just trying to chase on. Oh man, Xmithie, he's been so on point with his flashes as well, and at this point, like, Gragas is great at chasing down people in team fights as well, and since he has a lead, plus the Randuins, no one can even fight back against him.
This is a Xmithie champion right here.
Whoa, that'll help.
Okay,
Triple
that's
from
good.
Fenix.
Okay, that could mean something, actually.
Yeah. That's almost pure over aggression, chasing into a place that didn't have a ward when they got there.
And splitting up as well. Like, you know that your strength is in the fact that they can't engage on you because you have the Gragas in the front line. You can't pop him, and none of the characters can actually get in. The dash from Irelia gets canceled, same with the rek'sai, same with the LeBlanc. It's so difficult to get through anything while Xmithie is there.
I mean, that's one of the best things that can happen from TL, but they still end up losing out on it. They're still losing a mid turret. Even after the fight, it ends up being a 3-for-3, and that's with an unfortunate misplay from
Okay.
TL.
Okay, that's a TC
Still
though.
coming back in though.
Yep.
That's a double. That should be a kill for Lourlo at least.
Yeah. So this is...
Gragas actually picked off the Tahm Kench in the back, but he'll probably go down here.
Dardoch staying in it, 5,000 gold, and this is...
It could be the desperation
This is a
Baron.
desperation Baron.
Baron.
It's the
You
point
got
of the game.
Fabbbyyy arrow.
It's the point of the game where the junglers also are strictly about team fighters. So now it's all about decision making. And like Dardoch is himself is a very vocal shot caller for Team Liquid. Decides against the desperation Baron. But I mean, more initiations like that, I suppose, would be what he's trying to call for the rest of this game.
Well, the problem is that he doesn't have flash anymore, so it's a lot harder to get that jump onto the Syndra. And now that it's post 20 minutes, Gragas is going to outdo rek'sai in pretty much every aspect of the game. He's going to have more damage, more CC, more utility, harder to kill. And if you don't snowball in this matchup early on, you know, Gragas is going to be the better champion every time.
Yeah. I mean, this game is pretty simple from CLG from this part out. It's essentially one of those solo queue games where you start throwing a little bit because you're so far ahead, and then you're like, okay, guys, group
Just
is 5.
group,
Yeah,
just
just group and you win. It should be pretty clean cut from here on out.
Just group, don't chase.
Yeah. And luckily for them, they didn't get punished super hard when they had that moment of throwing. It was kind of just, oh, we traded a couple kills that we probably shouldn't have, but you still have a 4K advantage. Group up, get vision control, you know, cross your T's, dot your I's, and you should be fine.
Do you think that Xmithie should have gone Aegis against LeBlanc? Or should that be something that Aphromoo does?
I think maybe Aphro could have gotten it, because, I mean, what's going on with that chain vest? That might be a GA to kind of prevent the burst from LeBlanc, which a Banshee would have been better, and I would have liked to see a Frozen Heart. If we see a Frozen Heart and the Randuins out of Xmithie, you can go the Frozen Heart later after you get the Randuins. You don't need the Spectre's Cowls with the Negatron Cloak. You can basically...
fail.
You can mitigate, I mean, even then though, like the Frozen Heart here impacts 3 characters in this matchup as opposed to just 1.
This is a itemization from Xmithie that's targeted specifically at the type of comp that TL has. He doesn't really care. Like, normally CDR is really great for a gragas. You'd want to have a bunch of CDR. 40% is ideal. But in this situation, he's mainly focused on getting hit by an ashe or getting caught by an Irelia stun. The first bit of CC that he dodges, or the first spell that he blocks, is actually more important than him being able to sustain through a fight with a Visage.
Well, do you think he would have bought this much MR if they didn't give...
I think it's purely reaction to the triple kill.
triple kill? Yeah.
I think he's thinking Fenix is the only one who can carry this game, and he's not worried about pretty much anyone else. Which is why I was thinking about the Aegis, because I don't think Fenix is going to be bursting Xmithie per se, but he'd want to give the added protection to Aphromoo or Stixxay or HuHi, who I think are the real targets.
Yeah, I think Aegis is a really good item here. Also because LeBlanc has the Abyssal, but without her having more flat pen to back it up, for example, Cirque Shoes, the Aegis mitigates a lot of the Abyssal's power in one of these fights. So I think that the Aegis is a must buy. I would be very surprised if Aphromoo, who just sold his Chain Fest, I think?
Yeah, he did. That was an oopsie right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the chain vest idea is for. Realistically, nobody should be jumping you in the first place. You're fast enough to dodge out of the Ashe arrow, and if Irelia is going for you, you probably won the fight.
Yeah, I think it's more of a team comp reaction. He sees 3 AD sources on the other team, and he's thinking, oh, if I get a chain vest, I'll be unkillable. But I definitely would have preferred the more standard itemization. I mean, it's Karma. He has the AoE speed up anyway. I don't think he really needs the Shirelias as much as he needs the Talisman of Ascension, I guess. I'm too old for this.
Yeah. So
the item names.
One thing I noticed when Xmithie plays Gragas is that the team really relies on his flash initiations, and now that it's back up, I really want to see how he's going to use that, if it's going to be...
That's Stixxay with Ash Arrow.
Oh, instantly Phoenix is dead.
Well, here's flash initiation if he wants to chase. Yeah,
Darshan's
teleporting in.
Oh, that's Mega Gnar.
Yeah, this is at least a couple kills.
Yeah, they're just going to take the easy mat kill and probably push down mid.
Yeah, losing Stixxay is going to hurt them a little bit, obviously, because they're losing some of the DPS, but the chase will continue. I also wanted to point out before that fight happened, Xmithie had actually come back with 2 pink wards.
Oh, that's the best right now. When you're this far ahead, all you got to do is make sure that... Because getting 1 at this stage is really not enough. It's going to get cleared, something's going to happen to the ward, and maybe you need to move it around, the plan changed. Maybe you say, okay, we're going from baiting it to actually doing it. You got to reposition your wards if maybe nobody else has it. So I expect him and Aphro to actually have that double pink ward, and it just makes your vision game that much stronger.
Pulling back, and as far as closing out the game, double Infernal Drake, Ocean. Oh, Fenix is thinking about initiating. Xmithie still has all his spells, so he's really the guy who's going to stop the initiations from happening.
Well, I don't even think he needs... Well, he can stuff them. He can also engage by himself, but I don't think it's necessary at all. Just protect Syndra. Make sure HuHi doesn't die. He's the highest DPS right now, and if they can keep him alive, there's really not a whole lot that TL can do.
Also, double Infernal Drake Syndra is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
A champion like that does so well with bonus AP, so 16%, definitely take that.
Yeah, and I guess at this point it's a question between trying to vision control the Baron versus just get the outer turrets down. How would Xmithie necessarily prioritize between the two, and is this push top lane probably the right thing?
You just don't risk it, basically. Baron has a higher risk of throwing the game if that's what you're worried about. If you just say, hey, I don't mind taking an extra 10 minutes to close the game out, we could just go for turrets nonstop. We are not going to lose a 5v5 as long as we stay grouped. The lane's a lot easier because the flank from TL is not that strong. And Xmithie, the beauty of Gragas is that if you get flanked, all it takes for you is drop 1 zoning barrel on the guys on one of the flank sides, and you immediately win the fight.
Yeah, I think here it's more of a go with the flow type thing. Your objective is to control the top side vision, and then you see how far back the enemy team's playing. If they're playing aggressively and contesting vision and coming out to you, then you're able to get those picks, you're able to get those turns, you Shirelias at them or Talisman at them with Karma Shield and you get more picks. If they're playing too far back, they're playing safe and they're just hawk-shotting it from base, then you go for the Baron. So you kind of just have to get down your vision control on topside jungle, they're gonna reset and they're gonna get topside vision control again, and then you're able to play around the Baron objective as best as you can and make educated decisions.
It's also a matter of having the TP disadvantages. Lourlo having the TP with that big wave crashing in the bot side that Darshan had to answer. So when you have to just say, okay, we don't want to force the Baron right now because we don't have the TP, just go top. As you said, flow of the game, it's a lot easier to just get that turret and group up as 5 since you understand what is at stake here and you don't have to risk anything. You can get basically a free objective when you're down a massive summoner like teleport.
And I also kind of want to talk about the scaling into the late game for gragas and rek'sai because to me it feels like both of them actually don't scale that well with items. At least when I'm playing gragas, if I get like the first 4 or 5 kills in the game, I'm actually a little bit worried because I'm not going to hard carry a game as gragas. I see him as an enabler for others. What's the difference between a 4-0 gragas versus an 0-4 gragas, like a 31 minute?
CDR. I think that's really the only thing you're looking at for the gragas, like having that massive amount of CDR and protecting your team with peel.
But then we have someone like Xmithie who's got 4 kills, obviously pretty far behind in CS because that hasn't been his priority, but he hasn't gone for CDR at all. I see he's building the tank just so I see him bullying a lot of Team Liquid just as kind of being an unkillable person with an initiation threat.
Well, which one do you prefer to play them? Like the CDR, gragas, tank, like full-on tank?
Well, CDR definitely feels better, but in this game, he's playing for the team, and he's pretty much prioritizing everything for the team over everything selfish.
Yep.
So his mentality right here, I like his item choices. I think it's extremely intelligent what he's doing, and as for scaling goes, I would rather be the gragas than the rek'sai pretty much every time here. Just being able to provide that much CC. He's not going to just die immediately in one of these fights, so he's going to be able to get off rotations and rotations of spells. Obviously, CDR helps that, but regardless, he'll be tanky enough to get off his rotations anyway. So I think that in this situation, all he has to do is stand in front. Okay, yeah, go on the gragas. That's your whole combo. Now we just turn on you.
Once he gets GA, it's going to be just so much nastier to actually try to CC him. You can just stand in the front line and threaten so much with his flash.
And they're able to get the inhibitor down. Plus, they poke Team Liquid pretty low, so they're going to keep going. And
this is going to get
Xmithie didn't have to burn any of his cooldowns, so he could even disengage after this one. And it's basically because of the tank build that he was able to absorb that ashe arrow and live with still
and
over
the
half of his
threat
health.
of the flash, the fact that he hasn't used flash in an unnecessary situation, he understands that, okay, if we just group, we don't have to force anything. Just let the fight come to us. As long as he keeps his flash up, TL is going to be in a much more threatened situation to actually commit because you know that he has it. You know what kind of plays can happen when Gragas flashes up. So it's so much more caution for TL.
The threat of the flash is actually better than a kill itself. Let's say he flash body slam Fabbbyyy and killed him instantly. It wouldn't change the game that much. But him having that flash up to potentially get
Stuff
Fenix,
LeBlanc, yeah.
or get Fenix, or just be able to negate a team fight, like just disengage completely, is actually more useful than him getting a kill here. So I like the way he's holding it. It just gives them so much power when they move around as a unit.
Yeah, very good to hold it. Dardoch still trying to get tanky as possible. I mean, this is the 4th Drake of the game that COD is going to be going on. We've heard people say Team Liquid's a very impatient team. I think we might even see a fight here.
But this is the one that CLG just should stop.
It should be. That's a nice start. Beautiful pass.
Oh, but HuHi died. No, he traded for Fenix. That's good enough. You win this 100%.
Darshan's in the back. You can see Xmithie still full tank.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, Stixxay still alive. If they can kill Fabbbyyy, most likely, because that would be the 4th killing of just before Dardoch. Gotta land it.
Oh no,
get something.
fails it when he uses it at last.
It doesn't matter. The game's over right now.
The threat of the flash, Crumbs. The threat of the flash.
What is he gonna do? Save it for next game?
Yeah.
You gotta use it in the fountain for BM at least or something.
Yeah, true. Should have bought a BF sword.
Yeah, so this game was really from the very beginning pretty well controlled by Xmithie, but mainly the entire CLG team stopped
I
Dardoch
love the
from becoming
decision
involved.
for keeping all 3 wards. Since you know that the lane swap's not coming out, keep the wards up. Any invade's going to be so risky against Gragas and Gnar in the early game with the boomerang and the slam that you can just guarantee yourselves having that extra advantage. And honestly, just for that, I think Gragas is much better than rek'sai, because we were talking about which one's going to be better, the Gragas or the rek'sai. If you can save your trinket ward early on and you know that if anybody comes to you, you can kill them with body slam early, why not?
Yeah, especially in this matchup, you could see them picking the Gragas above the rek'sai. You've seen it really back and forth between a lot of different regions, different people